Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered.
So what's your podcast?
The Coach HP Show.
I love it. Coach HP. I like
HP,
it,
what a
man.
vibe. You got a great vibe going
Got a
on.
great
We're happy
vibe.
we can meet
Great
you.
energy.
What's up, everybody? It's your coach. Welcome to the number one positivity podcast on the internet right now, the Coach HP Show. It's opening day. Big shout out to all the baseball fans out there. You have to love opening day. You have to love what it's about. I'm here in Miami and we're not too pumped. We haven't been pumped about an opening day in forever. So it's a little difficult for us. The only exciting thing for now, for today's, I think that Pittsburgh is in town and Paul Skeens is pitching today. Other than that, the stadium attendance might be sold out today, and it'll go from whatever it is to about 2,000 people in 48 hours. That's very sad. That is very sad. I'm looking here so I've been obsessed with Corinthians, part of the Bible, Corinthians. For a minute, I am new. I've always believed in God. I've always felt God's had my back immensely. But I haven't been a very good, let's say, Christian per se, because I just have always lived like if God blessed me and then I just live. I don't spread the word of God. I don't talk about anything about God. I just say, God bless me, and then I help so many people. But I don't actually bring the Bible or bring anything I do into life. Now, I'm not perfect, but I'm very good, especially as a married man. I'm pretty close to a 10 as it can be. About my family, my chick, 24/7. If I'm not doing something like this, I'm with them all the time. So I'm super happy with my life. Everything is great. But I feel that I should give more thanks to Jesus Christ and the Lord. And that could be the same person. So I'm learning this. I'm very beginner in this. So I'm going step by step. I've always loved my own approach to faith because I'm doing it my way, step by step. And it feels good, feels authentic, feels good. And I'm rolling with it. But I've been obsessed with, ever since I did Emmaus, probably 5-6 years ago. And I wouldn't have done it except it was for a very good friend of mine. I had no idea what it was. And he's like, dude, you got to do Emmaus. He set it up for me. He paid for me. He made sure I did everything. And when I was there, they based it off the road to Emmaus, which is in the Bible, I guess, when something special in the base. I haven't even read that, so hopefully I'll get to that one day. But you spend 2 days. It was a Friday. You get to Friday, Saturday. You get out of there Sunday. No cell phone, no contact with the outside world at all. And it's literally people sharing their stories, their testimony of their life and how it goes and about this and about that. And the one thing I picked up from that was that my life is extremely blessed the way I turned out. People, and it's all guys, by the way, so it's all guys. Dudes were talking about their stories of this and that, and man, was it tough. Whether it was stories, listen, I came from abuse, but it was through a sport, and I felt like it really helped me. I'm one of the few that I think it, I don't know how, it like unlocked super positivity, Plus, my dad never really spoiled me, so it was the complete reverse. So I'm super grateful for everything. I love my life, so I got very lucky with the type of challenges that I grew up with, which were very hard. It didn't go the same for the rest of my family members, but for me, it worked out amazingly. But man, when you hear stories of abuse, sexual abuse, like it's drug abuse, it's bad. It's bad, gambling stuff. So guys were telling their stories, and we would meet, we would listen to stories, be like, wow. Then we have our own little group, and we'd sit there and we'd talk after groups on stuff like that. And man, when it got to me to talk, I just was like crying, because I was like, man, I'm so lucky. I have no problems. I have literally no problems at all. I share my life publicly on the internet, and I try to help as many people. That's it. I don't care about having the #1 show on the planet. I don't care about making the most money off this. I don't care about any of that stuff. I care about having the most positive show on the internet. Boom, that's it. And it leads wherever it's lead me to. And I've gotten to sit down with some really cool people, and I've learned a lot. I've hopefully shared some inspiration, but I was just so lucky. And when I was talking to the group kind of compared me to Paul. And they're like, man, you're just like Paul. Paul was this way, even though I think Paul was very aggressively into violence. That wasn't my case at all. But he became one of the strongest gospels ever. Gospels or apostles. I think he said apostles ever. And I became like, well, it really stuck me. Oh, this Paul guy I liked, And then I saw the movie of Paul, coincidentally, that came out with Jim Caviezel, which was awesome. One of my favorite movies. And what that really helped me with was, no matter what, you gotta love. So no matter what's happening, obviously it's very easy to love when good things are happening. Obviously it's very hard to love when bad things are happening, especially when it's inflicted by a person, a situation, a government, a candidate, whatever. And to me, that stuck with me. I was like, man, as long as you got love for people, whether it's good or bad, and you could always try to see the good and the positive in a situation, that helps. So I'm looking here to share with you guys I don't know if it's called the gospel, the proverb, but I'll figure out what it's called, the passage. But it's I'm doing this in lifetime, guys. Bible verse of love. Let's see what this thing tells me. I'm going to read it to you guys, and hopefully you guys resonates with one of you guys. So, Corinthians, it's 1 Corinthians 13 .4-7. And as I learned of Corinthians, that's, and if I mess this up, please somebody correct me here, but it's a place. So it's not it's a place, Corinthians. And I think it was under Romans had taken it over, and then they switched some of that, but that's where it comes from. Then it's the book of Paul, Corinthians 13 .4-7. Love. Here we go. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no records of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always preserves. And then it says here, this passage is often read at weddings. There we go, at weddings. But its message applies to all forms of love, romantic, platonic, and even way we show compassion to strangers. It's a powerful reminder of how genuine love is meant to be lived out. I saw a little bit about this when I went at the beginning of the new presidency, when I supported Trump and everything that they did, and I felt that a lot of evil was being done to us. Man, I would get destroyed by some people in the left would come at me hard. And I always said, I go, look, man, I don't have anything against you guys, whether you look like me, you don't look like me, whatever it is. I just felt that right is right, and I wanted justice. I wanted certain things that we weren't getting before. But there's no hate for anybody. In fact, I feel bad for some of these people that they feel a certain way, and they're angry and they're screaming and they're doing all this stuff. So maybe that passage will help somebody. That's a passage. That's what it's called, passage. Corinthians 3-4-7. Love. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. And it's hard, especially with what we're doing here with the social media stuff. Guys, I'm very fortunate to work with a lot of help and advise, a lot of successful people. And these people are doing, on paper, way better than me. And they got the opportunity. They got their shot. Whether it's they got attention on them, they're going viral, they got this client, they got this contact, they got this opportunity that can really, really benefit them. And I see my pool guy there, by the way. I got to install a new system on my saltwater pool. Just letting everybody know. And with all that said, I come at them with love. And I always tell them all the time, I go, how many people are hitting you up just talking about where you're at? And it's usually nobody, because everybody's worried about who? Themselves. We've said this a bunch. Somebody takes a picture, you guys take a picture. Who's the first person you look for in the picture? You look at yourself, see how I came up with. It'd be weird if you look at how your homie came up with. I sometimes, you know what, if every time I'm in a picture of my wife, I always check her out. You know, because my wife to me is so beautiful that sometimes pictures don't do her justice, and it's like the weird angles and stuff. But that's why I look at my chick first to celebrate her, and then I look at myself. You know, but love, and it's hard when we're wronged. It's hard when we're lied to, when we're being insulted. All these things, but love is the key. So that's my Bible verse of the day. I'm going to try every time I come on here, as I'm organizing myself for the future. Guys, we're going to get a studio. There's so many things in the works, but I got to go step by step because I'm in love. I'm in love with my wife. I'm in love with my family. So I'm doing that. And then we do this when the Holy Spirit hits us and we get some time, we're going to crank these out. So we're very fortunate in that aspect. What we did this week. So I've hacked out a ton this week with my son, helping him with, I'm big on teaching him modeling discipline, modeling affection, modeling hard work, just so he could see it. And I worked with my boy and his son, who's 10 years old. And I'm always looking at the sport 2 years ahead. 2 years ahead. When I train somebody, when I work with somebody, when I work with a client, no matter what they do, I try to be 2 years ahead. So in this particular situation, kid who right now is not particularly tall, great hitter, hits lefty, which is a bonus, throws righty, which is a bonus. So you get in danger of getting put in stagnant positions that are very hard to overcome unless you're an absolute monster at the plate. So in baseball, we're talking baseball here, you want to relieve the hitting as much as possible. You want to hit, obviously, but you want to bring so much value to the team that they have to put you in the field even when you struggle, that they can't replace you very easily. And positions like second base, third base, when you're not that tall, shortstop, they're going to find somebody that can hit. They're going to find a 6-footer that can play those positions. And second base may be a little different, but you're going to have the best. It's bad. So I like to encourage parents. You have a young kid now. This is like 7 and up. Start training him in the outfield. Please start training him in the outfield, catching fly balls, how to track a ball, the jump. I'll give you some things. First thing a baseball player, but especially an outfielder, does when they get to the field is they look for 2 things. They look for the sun and for the wind. And if it's at nighttime, they try to look at lights in certain situations. Sometimes the ball gets lost in the lights. That's part of the game. It sucks, but it happens. So I start talking about those things. When you run at a ball, you're going to run at a ball, keep your glove hand tight. A lot of people swing it around. It looks super cool swinging around, but that actually makes you slower. Things like that. Things like big first step. Like you almost cheated a little bit. Let the ball try. Let's see it. And then hack it with a big first step, especially in practice. Because when you do that in practice, it sets off the jump. So you could get a big jump. And then once you get used to seeing the ball, then in the game, it happens very good. But start now. Don't let the problem get to you there to then start worrying about it. No, start preparing now as early as you can. So that's something we did. Bunting, I'm big on bunting. I don't care who you are. The more you bunt, that could be a guaranteed one hit a game, which your average will go through the roof. When you bunt, so many things happen. Number one, you look like a team player regardless. That's huge because the sacrifice bunt comes into play, all these things. So bunting, I'm super big on. I'm big on bunting. I'm big on bunting for a base hit. Obviously, learning sacrifice too. Bunting to first base, bunting to third base, a push bunt, especially if you're lefty. Guys, by the time you connect with the ball, you could be one step almost out of the box. So unless you bunt it back to the pitcher, no one's going to get you out. Maybe even till, and I've proved this with certain people, maybe even till sophomore year, man, they will not be able to get you out because they don't know what to do. When I coached here in one of the top high schools here in Miami, every single time we sacrifice bunt, probably 65% of the time, the pitcher, the third baseman, the first baseman picked up the ball and threw it to first base. The guy put it in the right field stand. Because it's not a motion you do a lot. It's a lot of panicking, a lot of moving parts when you bunt. So practice the bunting. Be ahead. Practice running. Don't let your kid get out of shape. Work hard with the running. Work hard with being an athlete, which isn't very common at all. All the guys you're going to see today, opening day, all the guys you're going to see today on the field, they're all athletes. Above everything, they are all athletes. That's the one thing you can hack. You cannot hack. You got to be an athlete. So those guys physically all fit the bill. I got a chance to be with the Nationals in spring training, to work with them a day or two, and they all look like athletes. Nobody there looks a little chubby. No. Unless there's like a real big dude or like a real special case, but everybody's an athlete. They all check the physical box and how much they run, how fast they hit, exit velo, all these metrics that now is used in the game. So train your kid now that I'm warning you, especially if they're under 10 years old. Make it fun. Make that part fun. Put music. I bring out my music. I had the speaker going, the jams, this, that. I'm happy. I'm pumping them up. Beautiful turf field, chilling. For my 4-year-old and my boy's son who's 10. He doesn't need that thing, but my 4-year-old does. The dude's like, dude, I want to go play with Sonic and Ninja Turtles and stuff like that. But we gotta do baseball. We gotta do something. We gotta hit 3 balls, 4 balls. The other day I think we hit 11 balls and we get out of there. Doesn't matter. As long as you hit your balls, you get out of there. So that's that. That's what I wanted to share with that. Guys, I have been so fortunate with what we're doing here. I thank you guys so much. Any questions on anything, hit me up. I'll see you in the next one. Happy opening day to everybody out there. At Coach HP on Instagram. Any questions on anything, shoot me a DM there. thecoachhp@gmail.com. Any questions on anything, hit me up there too. We'll see you later on the next one, okay? Bye, everybody. Peace.
So what's your podcast?
The Coach HP Show.
I love it. Coach HP.
HP,
I like it,
what
man.
a vibe. You got a great vibe going on. We're happy we can meet you.
Great energy.